Hello and welcome to Sports Tonight. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
It's always a delight to have you join us to talk sports in London. I'm Austin Okonakpan.
All right, this is what the show is looking like this evening. The Super Eagles of Nigeria beating Liberia 2-0. Senior man Kelechi Iheanacho was the star of the show in the game. Also on the program, we'll be taking a look at Paris 2024. How are they getting ready? And of course, the news coming from Rivers State, Austin, is the fact that Rivers United will now be under the office of the governor. Maybe something may have happened that the commissioner will have to submit all the files that had to do with Rivers United to his office. So he will be directly involved with the prosecution of all the games that they will be playing, both at the continental level and also at the club level for next season. Also, we'll touch down at the US Open. Novak Djokovic calendar Grand Slam seems to be really close for him. He's into the third round. And of course, we'll not forget what's happening in England, Austin. The racism issue rearing its ugly head again. This time around in Budapest, in Hungary, we'll also be taking a look at that. But of course, we're starting with what happened just this evening, some few hours ago, where the Super Eagles of Nigeria started their World Cup campaign on a winning note.
Sort of notes that some fans don't want to see or talk about, but hey, a win is a win. Cecilia,
yes.
I just listened to you read out everything we talk about tonight. Confirms that it's an action-packed world of sports. In Rivers State, it's a tale of he who pays the piper still dictates the tune. But now let's focus with the Super Eagles of Nigeria 2-0. You mentioned it, so, senior man Kelechi Iheanacho with a brace. I've been getting calls, reactions, a lot of people saying that they expected more from the Super Eagles to go on to, maybe to thrash their opponents, maybe 4 or 5. But we know football isn't like that anymore, and we keep saying these things. But we should also try to do the things we must do, Cecilia, so we don't use our hands to spoil our good works. The pitch was a little bit of an hindrance. I don't know if you saw it. The movement of the ball, the behavior of the ball, it affected the players. And this is what Coach Iheanacho is always talking about. This is what we always talk about also, infrastructure development. I know that the Lagos State government is still trying to put together the Teslim Balogun Stadium, but the playing surface, to an extent, did not let the Super Eagles play.
I think it's the rain, Austin. I think it's the rain, because if you listen to Iheanacho, right, when they went to inspect the pitch, when he talked about, I think it was on Tuesday, he said that if the pitch is like this, when they play on Friday and the weather is like this, then they will play good football. So the pitch was actually okay. I think it's the rain. I mean, everywhere across the world, we know the global warming is been. I'm not trying to make excuses for Lagos State or for those who have actually put Teslim Balogun Stadium, the grass, regrassing it and everything. Yeah. Not trying to actually make excuses for them. But if you take a look at what's happening across the globe, the rainfall, I mean, the percentage and everything, I think it's higher. I mean, it's been raining in Lagos since last night and even till this evening. So I think maybe the rain, actually affected it. So when it rained so much and it's waterlogged, so they had to clear it manually or however they did it, but then they tried as much as possible to make sure it was playable for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So it wasn't really so bad as people. These are the pictures coming from Teslim Balogun Stadium, Austin. It wasn't so really terrible. But I just think it's the rain. I mean, whenever it rains and...
No, I'm just trying to say whatever it is, the playing condition was also a factor, and these players and the coaching crew, they will, testify to that. Maybe we need to do more work. We need to get more qualified groundsmen. Of course, it will rain, and so it rains and then we can't play football is also, something that we need, to look into. But I'm just trying to say, fans should calm down. They didn't win 4-0, they didn't win 5-0, but they won 2-0. And let's just hope that they go to consolidate on this result when they travel to Cape Verde. It's a long journey to the Qatar 2022 World Cup, and they started with a win. And I can just only hope that they can, keep it going, sustain the momentum, and ultimately pick the ticket.
Ultimately, that's what is important. I think Kelechi Iheanacho has scored 2 goals. Victor Osimhen, I mean, he created a lot of chances, but somehow he just couldn't convert, and we could have scored up to 3 or 4 goals, but then just wasn't to be. That's the celebration right there after scored the opening goal in 22nd minute into the game. Austin, I mean, I expected more anyway. If maybe Kelechi and Victor Osimhen was able to convert his chances, could have been up to 5. And then the high point of it was actually when Ahmed Musa, 99th cap, it was a glorious one for him, the captain of the team, being able to earn that 99th cap. Sometimes we just want our players to keep ripping in this record that we can always want to talk about, you know, in the future. Yes, it was the curtain raiser for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, and starting with a win is not bad. You know, yesterday, Austin, when Demola Lajire, NFF media communication director, I told him that maybe we can score up to 3, but it didn't happen. 2-2. We can take that, right?
No. Yeah, but it's okay, you know. A couple of chances missed here and there. You mentioned Victor Osimhen. I saw the one by Joe Aribo also.
Yeah.
You know, I think the Super Eagles is still, to an extent, you know, trying to get that sort of blend that they need to, you know, play, you know, easy flowing football that can, you know, start an attack and then go on to score a goal. But we're glad that Kelechi Iheanacho stepped in to score a brace to get important points for the team, and I'm just looking to see how they're going to respond when they travel to Cape Verde, particularly that the players from the English Premier League will not be around. By the way, Wilfred Ndidi was very dominant in midfield. You mentioned Ahmed Musa and reaching that milestone of 99. For me, I thought it was over 100. And we've been trying to get Ahmed Musa, hopefully, if he can just even get crash into the show, we wouldn't mind. So we get to speak to him and, you know how it feels, you know, to, you know, get that record cap for himself and with a victory over Liberia.
Yeah, so we really need to celebrate the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Yes, it was 2 goals to nothing. We wanted 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe. But Cape Verde will be on Tuesday. Maybe we're reserving some of the goals for the Cape Verde, but for the Cape Verde game. But the thing is, as you mentioned, we'll not be having the players playing in the UK. Truste Kong, Leon Balogun. Of course, Kelechi Iheanacho scored the 2 goals. Wilfred Ndidi, who was dominant. I mean, he played a fantastic role. I don't know who's going to take over. Joseph Aribo also will not be there. But then we'll be having Paul Onuachu. I don't know why Paul Onuachu was taken out of the game, but we'll be having Paul Onuachu. He will be there. Victor Osimhen will be there. So these 2 players will definitely need to produce the goals for Nigeria against Cape Verde on Tuesday. That must be said.
And, you know, that's what I said. I'm trying to see. I will judge and assess this team more after I see them play against Cape Verde, because they're traveling away, probably play on a more difficult terrain. Let's see how they're going to put it together. Character will be tested. They need to show that they are the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And, you know, that's what fans, you know, expect each time they see the Super Eagles play. They don't care if it's Liberia or whatever. They want a dominant display when you play against a team that they know shouldn't come close to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So we'll get to see. Some people are already sending and talking on social media that Algeria thrashed Djibouti 8-0. Nigeria would have done the same and all of that. I said, oh, okay, let's see. But it's football, no small teams anymore. And I know Liberia, they actually no pushover. But we just expected more from the team because they were playing at home. But guys, calm down. It's all over. It was Nigeria 2, Liberia 0, and that's something to hold on to. And as I said, I hope that they're going to do better against Cape Verde.
And if you look at the table right now, Nigeria is on top. That's what is important. Just continue like that. Keep on with it. And Victor Osimhen, after missing all those chances, and when Paul Onuachu was brought in, I'm sure maybe Genetro want to pair both together in the game against pair them in the game against Cape Verde on Tuesday. Okay, yeah, I was talking about the group table, Group C. Just take a look at it. Nigeria, after 1 game, 3 points. It doesn't really matter. And look at the L, none. It's just only Liberia that had lost. Cape Verde and Central African Republic, it was a draw for them on Thursday. That's why you have on Wednesday, right? That's why you have that result, like the table like this with Nigeria on 3 points. We'll see what they will be able to do, you know, in the game against Cape Verde, see if they can take it a notch higher. Hopefully they can play in a better pitch, because they are complaining that this pitch is not too okay. I've seen that they've been to some African countries where the pitch are not even playable. I mean, I remember what happened in Sierra Leone. It wasn't good. So I think they should be happy that this wasn't so bad. Austin, we got reactions from this game. Maybe first of all, we'll listen to Austin Eguavoendaza, former Super Eagles captain and also former Super Eagles coach, talking about this game.
Of course, I'm excited. I see the excitement so written all over you as well. Every Nigerian today is excited. And, to start in this manner, I don't think it's a bad one at all. We're all excited, yes. Obviously, if any team that is playing against Nigeria, it doesn't matter what category, they try to put a fight, they try to put their best in there. So that's why you say the scoreline was not what I expected, because football these days you can't really predict, but I thought we would score more than 2 goals. But I haven't watched this game. There's serious hope, there's serious improvement, but I think the coach will analyze this game to the boys and make sure they do, put a better performance in the next coming games. Yes, the worry is we have replacement, no doubt about that. But the worry here is that the crop of the players, the bulk of the players have been playing together. The ones that are just coming in now have not been playing regularly with the ones that are exiting, tonight. But however, I think it's good enough. They will build up. It's only one game. They will do well, and everything will be fine. They're good.
It feels fantastic for us. We hosted it successfully, and we have won the match. It could have gone better, and the weather held up for the match, so we're very, very happy with it. Yes, I remember when the last time we went to Zambia for the first match, and we were successful there. We qualified with the game in hand. We hope that we'll do this same thing here as well. But that's how we have a squad. And there are many players today who didn't play, who have played for the first team and who are good enough. So I think we'll cope.
Yes, he just said that NFF First Vice President Sheyi Akiwumi talking about we have enough squad. So if we don't have the UK-based players, the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, Wilfred Ndidi, then we should have enough squad to beat Cape Verde. Yes, Cape Verde, when it comes to basketball, yes, they're very good. I give it to them. But football, come on, they're not mates to Nigeria, Austin, man. Yes, I understand that you cannot underrate any country anymore. But Cape Verde, Austin, September 7th, come on, 5-0. You can actually do that.
No, Cecilia, this is football. And I've
yes,
said
I know
this
that.
over and over again, that when these teams meet the top guys, it's a form of motivation for them, particularly when they are playing the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And by the way, Cape Verde haven't been so bad. In fact, they've been decent in the last 3 years with their football. So
yeah.
I'm not going to push them, to the side easily. And it's a home game for them, And I'm thinking Gernot Ross should have tried some of his players, that will execute that match, And I understand that they train together as a team, but people agree that there's still some problem with cohesion with this team, that some level of understanding also. And I know that that's where the technical crew will need to work on before the match against Cape Verde. But I agree with you. On record, Nigeria is expected to go on to win this one. If you listen to what Austin Eguavoen said, you can see that he's beaming with some level of optimism. And we're expecting former Super Eagles player also Tijani Babangida. I'm sure by the time he gets on, he will tell us the same thing also, that look, this is Cape Verde. We shouldn't be worried about what's going to happen, that they can take a cue from what happened today and then go on to consolidate. But this is football. We've seen it go ways that we least expect. And you, Cecilia,
yeah,
I don't want to be the devil's advocate, but Nigerians still remember what happened against Sierra Leone in our house, right? Right there in Nigeria. So they will be saying the things that they're saying against Cape Verde. So the players will know that it's a serious mission. It's one that they need to go out there, give their best, and then get the points. Because you don't even want to go draw that sort of match. If you win this one now, 6 points, then you go on from there to see how you can get better on the campaign.
Yeah, that's it. And if you look at the population of that country, that's what I'm looking at, less than 600,000. I mean, that's like kind of, I don't know, maybe a section of Lagos State. That's the whole country. And then they've never qualified for the World Cup. So I'm looking at those statistics. I'm like, okay, which player? I mean, player for player, you really can't compare the Super Eagles of Nigeria players and, of course, Cape Verde. But team spirit usually works for most countries. If they play as a team, yes, maybe they can stand against the Super Eagles. But with the kind of squad we have, and with what, as you mentioned, what Coach Austin Eguavoen, he has coached the Super Eagles before. He understands how it works at the national level. He talked about the fact that, look, we've got a squad to beat Cape Verde. So we shouldn't be talking about, are we going to win this game or not? It's going to be how many goals are we going to score? I think that's what it's going to be. And that's what I'm taking away from the game against Cape Verde. So we enjoyed this victory. Yes, it was 2-0. It wasn't much. So all of us will enjoy it. And the good news is the fact that 17 years, we've not lost to Liberia. We continue with that. And of course, Kelechi Iheanacho hasn't scored for Nigeria for a while. He's been scoring for Leicester City. But scoring those 2 goals, I think, is something that he himself will also be proud of, being able to just put Nigeria on the map. The very first opening game of the World Cup qualifiers, giving Nigerians 2 goals to cheer. Despite the fact that they didn't have much fans at the stadium, just 5,000. And of course, Supporters Club saw how they were, beating the drums and just supporting the players all the way through the game. It was enjoyable. Most people talked about it's going to be boring, but it wasn't so boring. The first half was okay. The players had to fight very hard for them to be able to get that goal. When that goal came, they had to settle. But second half, we waited. We didn't see any. Both goals were scored in the first half. So I would say, for me, it was a remarkable game for the Super Eagles. A good way to start the match. The dominance was okay. But then every other aspect of it, maybe Victor Osimhen's wastefulness, and then the coach had to take him out and bring in Paul Onuachu. Paul Onuachu tried his best, but the goals just didn't come. I believe that these 2 players will understand what's at stake against Cape Verde. They understand that they're playing away from home. They should be able to give Nigerians the goals for us to keep cheering about, Austin.
Okay. So you've spoken for the Super Eagles. Let me bring the balance and speak for the Liberians, For instance, the level of understanding between Joe Aribo and Wilfred Ndidi can, be questioned. And that's because they've not played together for some time. Alex Iwobi was a bit intelligent on the ball, trying to look for those runs to either Moses Simon or even Aribo himself. But that's what I said, that they need to consolidate on this performance. Don't forget, the Liberians, I think in the first half there was a wrong call from my angle that I saw it, that for offside. If you check, if that guy was allowed to go, he would have put some thread. There was one also that Matuka Okoye had to, flip over. It was so close to being a goal. So the Liberians had some, threats here and there. They tried to string some few passes, here and there also. But the Super Eagles and, individual brilliance. And you can see right after that first goal, you can see the way they reorganized themselves. See Wilfred Ndidi, let's go. They really wanted the early goals. They wanted to score more, so they can, get into the break comfortable and come back to score more goals. But hey, it didn't happen that way, because at some point, by the clips we're seeing, the Liberians got a bit physical, and they showed in the game and slowed down things a bit. And I still insist that the playing tough also contributed to the slow movement of the ball, because these guys play Europe and they just want to touch the ball and run and open onto space and get goals. So a good one for the team. In our part of the world, say we win now win. So this is a win. We're going to keep it and then see what they can do against Cape Verde.
We'll see what they can do. Also, we'll listen to Olushola Ayekbeku talking about the chairman Lagos State Sports Commission, talking immediately after the game.
Well, yes, I'm excited. It's good to do two matches in a row. 2 wins in a row. No goals considered in Lagos yet. But more importantly, we're happier with the organization. People got in better this time. The kind of rush and complaints we had last time, I'm certain are significantly reduced. And so I think on the average, I think we are getting better with the organization. But more importantly, Nigeria won and everybody's happy. Yeah, well, we are hoping so. Don't forget that this number of fans we had was the highest that CAF approved for the whole continent. And so with what we did, we hope that we can get even more. So more Lagosians or more Nigerians will be able to enjoy Super Eagles here in Lagos. Having said that, we just want them to win. And with the attitude we saw today, we believe that they can win and ensure that the run continues. Because if they can get a good run going, then Nigerians can start planning for Qatar next year.
All right, you heard him, Austin. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good way to start. And yeah, I totally agree with this win. It's a good boost. They should start preparing for Qatar 2022. Sports Tonight on Channels Television. Cecilia, let's go on this quick break. When we come back, former Super Eagles player Tijani Babangida standing by, loves running from the wings. Will talk to us about this game tonight and see ways that the Super Eagles can improve against Cape Verde. So don't go anywhere. Stay. Welcome back, Sports Tonight on Channels Television. We are reviewing that match between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Lone Star of Liberia. It's the qualifiers for the 2022 FIFA World Cup that will take place in Qatar. Nigeria won by 2-0. Let's go to Makurdi, the city of the capital city of Benue State. That's where former Super Eagles player and Ajax legend Tijani Babangida is chilling. TJ, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Yes, Austin, congratulations, by the way, and I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. I was going to call you Okada, but our international audience will be wondering, why am I calling you Okada? Back in the day, Tijani Babangida was so fast on the wings, and so he was nicknamed Okada in our local, language, but it means the motorcycle. You know how fast it is, the power bikes. TJ can be that fast. TJ, good to have you on the show. Nigeria 2, Liberia 0. Was it the sort of result you were expecting? Hello,
well, I'm really expecting a win. I'm expecting a 3 point. And can you hear me, Austin?
Yes, I can hear you. Go
Am
on.
I on?
Yes, you
can
are.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Perfect. Of course, before the match, I know that today is the first Qatar, and I know that the players are very serious. 3 points is very important. Liberia must fall, and they did it. No matter how they play, good or bad, at least they take that 3 points. And we're proud of it, and they are good now. They are good to go in the tournament, in the competition, because in the competition, the most important thing for you is to win the first match, and they did it clearly 2-0. So I want to congratulate them and congratulate Nigeria for this wonderful.
Awesome. Yeah. Will this sort of result push them to do more in their second match against Cape Verde?
Yes, for sure. Because in a tournament or like this, all you need in the first match is win your there in Nigeria. Because they are going to Cape Verde, where they are going to fight. Cape Verde is a very strong team, but in papers, you can see that they are maybe a small island, a small country. But that team is not it's not a pushover. They should go ahead there and fight and get us 3 points as well there. They can do it. I know they can.
Tijani Babangida, in your playing days, particularly the team that you came out, we refer to you guys as the golden era because there was some level of understanding where the ball is in the midfield, you guys on the wings, there's this understanding, when it's coming. Do you see that sort of understanding when you watch this current Super Eagles team?
Well, really, during our time, you can see that we know each other. We know if I look JJ or I look Kanu or I look Olise, the moment they turn the ball, they know what I want. We don't have to speak, they already know because we know ourselves we are doing that. I believe this team, they can be also to do that, but for now, their communication is not that like the one I was talking about, but I think they can do it as well. But it's different, completely different, really, I'm saying.
Okay, let's go to Lagos, where my colleague Cecilia Amorbe is standing by.
Yeah, interesting. You said they can actually do better, Tijani. Now, if you take a look at, you talked about the fact that their understanding is really not there, maybe because this is our first game. Now, the likes of Kelechi Iheanacho, Wilfred Ndidi, Joe Aribo, and of course, Leon Balogun, William Troost-Ekong, they would not be playing against Cape Verde. And these are the crop of players that played this particular game. What can Coach Kenneth Rowe do differently to ensure that we get a win against Cape Verde on Tuesday?
Well, I think that playing the home game is different than playing an away game. And most especially, he already have his homework done because he already know how Cape Verde play at home, and he already know how to attack them. That is where tactically will come now. Now we have to see how the coach will approach that game. Even though he's losing some of the players, you have enough players because we have over like 25 players in that camp now. So even few players are not playing, the coach can be able to pull a team that can be able to go and fight Cape Verde because tactically he knows what he's going to use on that game.
Is there something the players can really do differently? Because we saw missed chances, from Victor Osimhen. Even when Paul Onuachu came on, there was really not much difference. The 2 goals we had were all scored in the first half. Second half was definitely difficult for the Super Eagles of Nigeria.
Yes. Always when you already score, like the one day we just scored now in the first half, you already score, you have already 2 goals down. When you come in, the other team, after the first half, the coaches always can change their tactical plan. And you can see that second half will be different than the first half. And then you find out that it's going to be difficult. But already when you are winning a game and you know that you have the 3 points and then it's getting more difficult, then you pull back. You just play the game to just while away the time. And that's what the Super Eagles did. When it becomes more difficult, they just try to play and then they go. And they try to see if they can pull a goal. But since they couldn't, they go on like that since they have the two goals already. So the 3 points is there.
TJ, let's talk about how important it is for teams to score goal. Now, I'm not talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. When you're playing a World Cup qualifying match, how important is it as a team to score goals? Plenty of goals.
It's very important because scoring plenty goals can help you because it's a tournament. You go with points and you go with goals also. So we may go tight maybe with another country, but you can see that goals always count. So if we have opportunity to score more goals, not only these 2, we can score as much as we can. But if we cannot, we already scored 3 points. That is also okay. But 3 points is very important and more goals are also important.
Before we let you go, what would you advise the team to do against Cape Verde in their next match?
They should forget about today completely. Today is gone. We have the 3 points in our pocket. They should go. That one will be a final match. Cape Verde is a final. It's never a push away team. You have to go and fight them there because any big team that Cape Verde can be able to get it down. Nigeria should fight about it. Our players should go with different mentality and the coach will go with his own tactical play so that we can be able to see that we offset and bring that point back to Nigeria.
That's what we want. We must say thank you so much, Tijani Babangida, for your time. Always a delight to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Austin. Thank you, Nigeria.
All right, that's it. Former Super Eagles player Tijani Babangida. As sometimes Cecilia, it's difficult, but when we speak to the guys from 1994 down to maybe 2002, we struggle not to compare because they played good football that time. But I love what Tijani said. He said, forget about today. The next task is against Cape Verde. Go out there and see what you can do.
Yes, and that's why they get all the bonuses and they get all the opportunities and everything. And of course, that's why they have a very, that's why you also have the coach. So I love what he said about the coach. He understands what he needs to do for these boys to beat Cape Verde. So all they have to do, get on the pitch, no matter the kind of pitch you're playing on, there shouldn't be excuses. Just get there, do the business, and come back home, 6 points in the bag, and then wait for the next round of qualifiers. That would be great, right? So let's leave. We can go on and on and on and talk about Super Eagles because it's just become a Super Eagles show. But then on Tuesday, of course, we'll have a comprehensive preview of the game against Cape Verde. We'll talk more about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And of course, we know by then we'll be getting reactions from the players and the coaches, how they're prepared for that game. So, Austin, let's come home and talk about Rivers United. What's happening to Rivers United? Maybe there's kind of a political undertones or whatever it is that the governor himself is saying that he will directly be responsible for the club. Interesting, it's not the office of the deputy governor, it's the office of the governor himself. Kind of strange. I don't know.
I know, Cecilia, and when I heard that, just I said what it is. That it's a tale of he who pays the piper will take the tune. And the government of River State, they need to give us more explanation. The public needs to know why, the move was done, so persons won't start jumping on the fact that it's just interference, because that's what it is. But hey, it's the government that brings that money, and we know that Rivers United are getting ready for proper continental action. I know the state government, they were so pissed when they missed out of the Champions League slots last season. So this time around, maybe they want to bring it closer to the administration and say, okay, now that we are telling you that you are under our office, you will know we mean business. Don't forget, they will be signing players also. But we need to know more. We need to know more. We need to bring Commissioner for Sports in River State, Boma Iheanacho. Let's understand why the government is making this move. But then, Cecilia, I've looked at it over and over again. Maybe in the end, it will be for the good of sports in River State, because now the state government will understand when they need to give money, and then make sure they do that at the right time. Don't you think so?
Too, and it shouldn't just be Rivers State. It shouldn't just be Rivers United. Maybe they can add, Rivers Angels to it. You just know that everything will be under its office, because I believe the girls will be happy. And remember, it was when the current administration in Lagos, in Edo State. Talking about Gordon Obaseki and Felix Schreiber. It was when they came on board. That's when you have Edo Queens and Venetians, having, same equal pay, same amount of money. So I believe that maybe if they add Rivers Angels to it, they can bring in that, take a cue from what Edo State has done, and just having equal pay and money getting to the players when they need it, and not to wait. Remember last season, they were one of the last clubs to actually register for the new season. When news came out that Rivers Angels haven't registered for the new season, everyone was shocked. Rivers Angels, no, it's not possible. But then that was what happened. So you never can tell. Maybe you can just put all of them together directly under them, and then see how they can actually bring in maybe private partnership into it, not just office of the governor alone. If you want to sanitize, maybe there's something going on that he's not happy with. I think maybe when you have a private partnership with these clubs, I think it's more serious, so that when the governor leaves, you have a structure that you put in place that they can easily follow. That's what I think.
Cecilia, sometimes when players complain about welfare, they say, Mr. Governor, we are calling on you. And sometimes they protest to government house. Now, the governor's office is in charge. So, Your Excellency, your office is not taking care of us. So maybe in the end, because the club is owned by the state. Maybe when Alfred Okoligwe joins us, we'll be able to explain better. But when I got the news, the only thing that just came to mind is, I hope everything is fine with Rivers United, because as you mentioned, they didn't bring the sister club Rivers Angels into the mix, so they didn't say sports in general. I say Rivers United, and we know it's because of the serious continental assignment that they have coming up. So let's see if this will actually be a good move for the States.
Well, you mentioned Alfred Okoligwe. I think he's ready to join us now. And the first question I'm going to put to him had to do with the Super Eagles of Nigeria. How you felt after watching that game? Before we talk about Rivers United, his feelings about that. Alfred, good evening. How are you doing?
A very good evening to you, Cecilia. Good evening, Austin Okonak. I'm excited. The most important thing is the 3 points at stake. It wasn't, for me, a particularly good game. Not pleasing to the eyes, but who will complain? The most important thing is that we started on a winning note, 3 points in the bag. The boys can build from this going forward. What it meant is that Nigeria will stay top of that group if we don't lose against Cape Verde in our next game. And so for me, that's where you start from. A group that has Cape Verde and, of course, the team, Liberia, and the team that we play with can't be said to be one of the strong teams. But being that it's made 3 points in the back, we can't complain. But I would have loved to see maybe a sharper Super Eagles. But credit to the boys, they got the result. The pitch was heavy. It's been raining all day. Since yesterday, it's been raining. So you expected the pitch to be heavy, and that it did. At some point, I thought everybody was playing to stay safe, to stay out of injury. We have the 3 points and we can't complain.
We really can't complain. Now, let's talk about Rivers United and the fact that the state governor is asking the commissioner to submit every file that is in charge to the governor's office because he wants to be directly responsible for the team. They mentioned Rivers United, no sport in the state. What do you think about this move?
Well, the wordings of the press statement that was released as regards that handover of the Rivers United back to the government house, to the governor's office, I found it very intriguing because the language, like there is something that we've not been told that we don't know about. Maybe something is fishy. But come to think of it, one of the most coveted offices that you can get in the land is the office of he who controls any of the Premier League teams. I mean, this is an office that money is budgeted. You hear some outlandish song being budgeted for the team's campaign. Something as in some teams you hear that each month they get as much as 200 million. Then if you look at the team in itself and the output and what they've been able to do with the money given to them, you ask, where does the money go to in the first place? So maybe the governor knows something that we don't know about, or perhaps maybe he wants to directly oversee Rivers United campaign on the continent, or maybe still some people would have whispered to the ears of the governor that, when Eyimba won it in the 2000, it was Ojus or Kalu that was directly involved. That was why they won it. And so the governor wants to see how he will ensure that Rivers United gets do well on the continent. But then I think we have to grow structures. If a team is directly controlled by the governor, how that team will build structure, how that team will, in case the governor is not there, lives to be seen. But who knows what the governor may know? We've not been told that there have been infractions on the rest of them. We don't know what may have happened. But I think something is not just, it doesn't sit right with me. But then, like Austin said, he who plays the piper, he takes the tune.
That's what it is, Alfred. And before we move away from this subject matter, some persons are worried. Are you among? Because it's a state-owned club. It is the governor that signs out money for this team. And now you said, I want to be in charge. Is there any need for Rivers United or persons involved in Rivers United to be worried?
Well, if you... from the purist point of view, from somebody who has been in football for a long time, I think one has to be worried because at the end of the day, the office of the governor of a state is too big an office to daily oversee activities of a club. A club that wants to go out there and do the best that it can get. I think the governor will have other pressing state matters to attend to. What it means is that there will be somebody on the background, somebody who does not even know the inner workings of football, who does not know how you operate, running the show. Case in point is the one that have been out there for a long while is Heartland Football Club of Owerri, where we understand that it's the deputy speaker of the House of State House of Assembly that is directly in charge, that calls the team that says, okay, you know what? How many doctors are you traveling with this weekend? No, you are not to travel with. To travel with one. How many reserve players? Those are the intrigues. Those are the things that make up. I think the governor is too busy. Somebody else would have been called in. Will that person be held accountable if Rivers United doesn't do well? It needs to be seen. For me, it doesn't sit well with me, and I just have to be worried. Because if you look at it, when anybody did so well, yes, we might say Ojus or Kalu was directly involved. But there's a certain Felix Ayasiagu, who is, if you like, the chairman or general manager, who is directly in charge of that team and is involved in the day-to-day running of the team. How this works out, I don't know yet. I think the office of the governor of River State will have so many pressing issues to worry about. I don't think they will give Rivers United the attention they deserve.
All right, we'll see what's going to happen when the whole team, when next season starts or when they start their campaign on the continent. Let's go on a short break. We'll be back and talk about racism in football. All right, welcome back. I believe last night, most people watching the game between England and Hungary were really not happy with what happened from the fans who targeted Ryan Sterling and, of course, Jude Bellingham. Just 18 years old for him to witness this. These are pictures, coming from that game where a section of the fans were actually, racist abuse on some of these players, and FIFA and the Prime Minister of UK have already said that, look, it is disgraceful. And so because of that, FIFA has actually opened disciplinary proceedings after this racist abuse that was aimed at these England players. They won that game 4-0. I love the fact that they responded on the field of play with a 4-0 victory over Hungary. By the end of the day, the racism issue was what really gets everyone talking, because even after they scored, they had objects that was thrown on the field. In the second half, flares were thrown on the pitch. And of course, the fans were really, it wasn't good at all. Football is one of the games that everyone really loves. But what happened in Budapest, there's nothing to write home about. That's why FIFA is trying as much as possible to do so much. And everyone has been condemning this act. Austin, you are in London there. England has tried as much as possible to do a whole lot to try, to actually stem this. But other countries are really not doing the same. That's why you can leave your country and go to another country, play football, and you're having issues like this.
Sad, so sad, disappointing, Cecilia. A show of shame by those fans at the Puskas Arena. We must do all we can to kick racism out of football, and I'm glad FIFA has opened disciplinary proceedings already. England has condemned the abuse. They've described this as totally unacceptable. Gareth Southgate has been speaking, and he said, look, players should not be subjected to racism, and I totally agree with him. Let's listen to him and we'll be right back.
I don't think our players can do anything more than they have done over the last 2 or 3 years in trying to get the right messages out, take the right stands, and it's for other people to protect them. It's for me to protect them in the main, but for the authorities to protect them as well. They shouldn't have to be subjected to any form of racism. The individuals that are responsible, they need to be dealt with. I think there is some evidence that people have been filmed, and we've got to hope that the authorities deal with that in the right way. And although some people are stuck in their ways of thinking and in their prejudices, they're going to be the dinosaurs in the end, because the world is modernising. Look, Hungary isn't anywhere near as diverse in its population as our country is, and so I think inevitably it's still taking us a long, long time to get to where we need to get to, and inevitably if other countries don't have the same level of diversity, it's probably not been in their thinking in the same way it has in our country.
So sad, so sad. Football unites the world. Football brings people from different parts of the world, and then spread love and peace. Such a shame that those fans are right there at the Puskas Arena, did what they did. I just hope that they will be identified. We need to kick racism out of football. It has no place. Alfred, this is a very big fight. Not just UEFA, but for FIFA, but for all of us. And I don't know what they need to do, but this fight against racism must not stop.
I completely agree with you, Austin. For me, racism in football does not have to do with color players being targeted. I think we have to look at it holistically. Yes, It happened to English players, and that's why, because they control a lot of the things that we consume in the media. It's high up there. FIFA is talking about it. Everybody is talking about it. But hey, Austin, look at the governance in football. Even in England, where they want to mouth that they've crossed that level. How many players, how many coaches of color do we have in England? In the hierarchy of the running of the game in England, how many people are up there? Players who have played, who have retired from the game, how many of them are in the mainstream of football in England? So it is something that's not out in Europe, it's systemic, and I think by extension to the rest of the world, the things, for me, there's racism in technology. Yes, where the rest of the world already games are being played, FIFA and the rest of them. We're talking of what's it called, VAR and the rest of them. Has VAR been used on the continent? Is it? Are we using it? Is it operational here? What can be done to spread football money around the world and the rest of them? So there are a whole lot of issues that fans in at the Puskas Arena making us address. It's just a minute part of the problem that we have in football. That there are football, for me, yes, it's inclusive the way we play, but in administration, is it inclusive?
That's it. That's it. Sad. I love what Jude Bellingham said. He said, let's keep smiling. We can't let hate win. And I will hope that they will identify those persons and keep criticism out of our football. Cecilia, I know you are already set for Paris 2024. They have commended the city of Tokyo for doing a good job with the Tokyo Olympics. We should be getting ready for Paris.
Definitely, that's what we'll be doing. We'll talk more about Paris after the Paralympics will be over on Sunday. But we have to leave right now. So I want to thank Alfred Okoligwe for joining us tonight once again. Thank you so much.
I delight always. Thank you, and good night, guys.
Good night. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Cecilia Mogbe. Have a fantastic weekend.
Always a delight to have you join us talk sports in London. I'm Austin Okonakman, and everything you do, remember, let's keep talking sports. Bye for now.